Is it worth doing the mentoring course? Well, I signed up for the second year, so the answer is yes. I've stopped at the moment just because of personal commitments, but would I do it again? Absolutely. I think things move on and just getting refreshment, and it's not just mentoring, it's coaching, it's motivational, it's the peer group. I think I'm probably still in contact with, well, a fair majority of them, but I'm doing business with probably 8 of the people I've met from Susannah's mentoring courses. The biggest obstacle for me for getting started was me. And I think it's the biggest obstacle for most people. I'm pretty confident, I know my stuff, but you still have doubts. At the end of the day, the buck, it's not like large corporates where if things go wrong, somebody else pays the bill. I pay the bill now if it goes wrong. So the biggest obstacle is getting started is me, or was me. And I think that's where the mentoring courses work. Not just from what you learn from Susannah and the people who presented those courses, but again, it's the peer group, listening to where they've come from and what they've done, and pinching some of their ideas. I'm a great believer in not inventing things, because I'm not that creative. So I met Susannah at a property event, and I gelled with Susannah straight away, could see that she was very ambitious. She, at this point, hadn't started out in property and was just on the beginnings of it. We had a number of conversations over coffee, and Susannah was looking to raise money. I decided to invest in Susannah, both with a couple of joint ventures and just lending money to Susannah, which all those projects went very well for her. In fact, some of those houses she still has, and they've done very well for her. I think it's very easy when you do a business to say this is how a business works, and you're very fixed on a way to do something. Again, doing the mentoring courses, and the courses work that on a weekend you do a particular subject, and that subject may not be of interest to you. So houses of multiple occupation are not of interest to me at the moment. I'm not closed-minded, so I'd never do them. But I think what it does is opens your mind, and again, speaking to other people, learning things, you go, I hadn't thought about that. Why do we do that? So one of the weekends, which is probably the most popular weekend, is technology, which is something I do like, but it's learning how you can make your business more productive at lower cost and easier. So there's lots of different bits that gems you can get from the mentoring course. So I then started doing Susannah's mentoring program 3 years ago now, so I'm now off it. I did it for 2 years, and the reason for doing it, property, even as an experienced property person, it's my business and it's just me typically, and I may have people working for me, etc. But it can be quite a lonely journey. So one of the reasons for doing the mentoring course was to meet like-minded people. The other reason for meeting or going on the course is you end up gelling with a number of those people, and you end up doing joint ventures or business with those people. So forget what you might learn from the course, forget the money you might make from doing some of the, implementing some of the plans or ideas that come up on the course, but just from the people I've worked with, be that I've done joint ventures with them, we've ended up with doing money, lending, etc. between each other, that in its own right more than paid for the course. And it's not just the money, it's building up that team of like-minded people that you can do business with. You're not explaining what you're trying to do, they get it, and they want to get it. And it doesn't matter how good you are at something, you've all got different skills. And so what's great on the course is you meet people and you go, that's a skill I don't have, and or it's an area I'm not interested in, I don't want to do it. And I think that's a great thing for any business, is to recognise what you're not good at and say, right, this is my skills, they've got those skills, and working together. Commitment's quite high in one way, but that's any business. You know, I don't think there's any easy money to be made in any business. You know, it's okay when you look at people who made a lot of money and you go, oh, that was easy. It isn't. But it's one weekend a month. It runs for 10 weekends throughout the year. There's 2 months off for Christmas and summer. So it's not that bad a commitment. I've got family and managed to juggle those commitments around. So it's certainly doable. And if you're determined to do something, you've got to make commitments. So the actual curriculum on the course is very good. As I say, there's 10 weekends. Each weekend you end at a specific project. That could be buying at auction, raising private finance. So you know exactly what's going to go on. There's multiple speakers on the day, so that just breaks the day up, because it's a lot of information you take, even as an experienced property person. There's just a lot of information that you take on, so it could get tiring, but actually it's always fun. It's a small group, so I've been to other mentoring places where there'll be well over 100 people there, and that to me doesn't work for me. So I quite like the intimacies of Susannah's. There's a great, I think what hasn't been mentioned actually is like the Facebook forums with Susannah's group or mentees. So when people then have questions of, I'm about to do this, or how do you do that? People are quite proactive on that, and that's quite useful. But certainly the weekends, the curriculum works very well. It covers, I'm pretty sure, pretty much anything you want to know about property, really. And the other flexibility is to be able to, sometimes you can't make a weekend, so you might miss a particular one, and that may be a subject, like I said, I'm not particularly into HMOs, so I would maybe plan to miss that one if I had to. So my advice for somebody who wants to get started in property, two big things for me. One is a saying, because I also present on some of the mentoring courses. One of them is, you're going to make mistakes, make them cheap mistakes. You will always make mistakes. I think the other thing is not to beat yourself up. I think as your own entrepreneur and owner, Susannah and I have been talking earlier today, and this hasn't gone right, and I haven't done this, and we're not doing that as quickly as I want to do it. That's us being perfectionists and trying to sprint. And sometimes you forget to pat yourself on the back and say, God, I've achieved a lot. And it's really interesting looking at some of, if you look at why to become a mentee, if I look at some of the people that have been on the course who've come from, as they call, jobs, and where they are now, these are people who struggle to stand up in front of their fellow mentees and present. And I know some of them have done some filming on previously to me. But where they've come from and where they are now, it's been a huge change for them. And I think the mentorship gives you that confidence, because I think for most people, or the other advice is, I would give people is, do it now, not mañana. It's always, I'll do it another time, it's not right to do it now. Most people's biggest regrets, I would say, in property is they didn't start it sooner. I've not met anybody who said, I started property too soon. Never. And I think the mentoring will give you to see fellow people and how they've done it, and also get you to do it sooner.
You can tell I love sharing information on property because it is what works. If you want more in-depth information, consider the mentoring programme. If you hop onto our website, you can read all about it.